Yes, we should now be live.
Okay. All right. Here we are. Debut of. Frank's getting everything set up here. We don't have a cameraman yet. We can't afford that yet. So, if you'd like this, please subscribe to help us out here. Okay. All right. I can see us now.
Check your volume, see if you can hear us. Hear anybody talking, testing?
Yeah.
Sounds like something.
Sounds like it's working. See us now. I don't want too much feedback here. How's the camera thing going?
We'll have to come up with a better way to start these.
I know.
We got a little bit ahead of ourselves. We
Yeah.
were pretty excited, and we told people we were doing this, and here it is. Whiskey Bible Podcast.
Whiskey Bible Podcast, the new and improved Whiskey Bible YouTube channel. We're going a different route kind of deal. Figured it'd be more fun to talk to you about it and kind of get our live results, raw footage, if you will.
Yeah, it's interesting because Luke came up with the idea, but after thinking about it a bit, I feel like when we're filming, we're basically doing a podcast, and then I've been editing all of these interesting conversations that me and Luke have because we wanted to make the video like reviewing bottles. And so I think this will be nice to have us actually just talk about whiskey, and I think maybe a bit more relatable.
Yeah, I really like the word interesting conversations because we sure do have some interesting conversations.
It sometimes we'll have to practice staying somewhat on topic, but I think it'll be fun to kind of see where things go. And if you're here watching live, Luke's got the chat up, so you should be able to join in. If there's anything we're talking about.
Yeah, Gary's here. He already said we are back. It's the first fault.
Yeah.
But we're not going to talk about that. The topic of this podcast, it's going to be Heaven Hill products. So just recently, I had the absolute honor and pleasure of being in the presence of Mr. Fred Minnick. I got to do a barrel pick with him and the whiskey fairy, Tony Carver of Joe Canal. So we picked the first Heaven Hill bottled in bond single barrel store pick, ever. And to do that with Fred was truly amazing. And I also got to do an Elijah Craig barrel proof pick, which was awesome. Those will be coming in March of 2025. Very excited about that. And just that whole conversation with him and doing all this stuff just really got me thinking the first podcast episode should be about Heaven Hill products.
Yeah, we got 3 different mash bills here. We got a bourbon, we got a wheated bourbon, we got a rye from Heaven Hill. So we're just gonna, sip on these. We got a very special bottle open, try for the first time. But we'll just talk a bit, compare the different recipes from Heaven Hill, talk about whatever comes to mind.
I think it's funny the UPC codes are vertical here and then horizontal here. It's like hot dog and sandwich style. See, this is what gets cut out in the normal videos. Yeah. There's 5 people watching. Gary says he didn't get an alert for this video, so people might not know. The old video, however, he did get an alert. Maybe just because he was on YouTube presently, he didn't see the alert, but I'm sure people will figure it out.
It could be any number of things.
Yeah. So, well, what do you think? What should we start drinking first? Should we start with the rye? Should we start with the larceny? They're all barrel proof offerings for the most part. I'm not sure if this is exactly barrel proof, but we're definitely not starting with this one. That one you'll have to wait till the end of the video to watch us drink.
Oh, really? I thought I wanted to start with that
one.
Oh,
you wanted to start with that one?
We can wait if you want.
No, it's your call. You got it. What are we doing? We're going to start.
We're ripping it open.
We're ripping it open. Okay, here we go. See,
let's start this party with a bang.
I told Frank I'm just going to set these off to the side for now. Is that a Batman ping pong machine?
Maybe a little.
Yeah. It's okay. Yeah, so this bottle came directly from the distillery. Tony, the Whiskey Fairy, who hopefully she's watching right now. I don't know if she is or not. She was actually able to pick this up for me when she was down there. When you do barrel picks, I guess they offer you William Heaven Hill a lot of times. And I haven't opened it since. I haven't opened it, so this is a big day. I've been wanting to open it, and I've been talking myself out of it every time, but here it goes. This may be difficult, as this wax usually gives us a little bit of trouble.
Yes, if you're familiar with the channel.
Oh, look at that. William Heaven Hill.
Okay.
Yep. Nice and easy. That's probably very loud, and my apologies.
It's a good cork pop, though.
Look at that. That cork is wet. That cork is wet. Wow, that smells incredible. So this is 120 proof, 17-year juice. If you follow the Heaven Hill Heritage brand, the Heaven Hill Heritage 17-year was a lot of people's favorites. I know it was Gary's favorite. I know he loved that bottle. So let's see. I'll pour your glass for you, like I always do. How much do you want?
Just a normal.
Just a normal pour that Gary doesn't like. Gary doesn't like our normal pours.
Does he want bigger pours?
He wants bigger pours. Gary says the bigger the better. I've heard that before. So yeah, there it is. I don't know how good you'll be able to see it on camera. It's gonna go in the trash bin, but yeah, this is our first time trying any of the William Heaven Hill products. Johnny Dean is back, and he says, back with a fresh crack. Cheers, gents. Johnny Dean's a good follower. He likes our live streams. So
the one thing we will have to be careful of is there usually is we got to keep talking while we're trying to get these notes.
Yeah.
Because usually there's like 5 minutes of just us sniffing.
So yeah, I do get the Heaven Hill nuttiness a little bit. Definitely smells warm. It smells like nice and proofed up. It smells old. Are you getting that tobacco oaky note in there too?
Yeah. It's kind of musty.
Musty. I was literally. I don't know if you can pick that up on camera, but I was literally just about to say that. It's so funny. Yeah, it is definitely musty. It smells like, almost like an old whiskey cellar.
Yeah, there is just a hint of sweetness, but it really is leaning more towards an oak and smoke kind of.
Oak and smoke. Beautiful amber color. So this is their normal bourbon mash bill. I believe it's 78% corn, X amount rye, X amount malted barley. That's the same mash bill as Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond. Same mash bill as Elijah Craig. Their bourbon mash bill uses a very high corn percentage.
Yeah, I think it's something like 10 rye and 12 barley. I might have them mixed.
Yeah, he's the math guy. I would never have figured that out. Stay in school. But yeah, it smells very good. Smells like a premium whiskey product for sure. Oh, that was an interesting note. I don't know what that was. Kind of like a leather belt. I got a little bit of leather. Getting all the notes that you would put with age. So age, you kind of get the smoky, oaky, leathery, tobacco notes. Not much vanilla sweetness going on, and the nuttiness, I mean, it's there, but it's subdued. It's not the normal Heaven Hill nuttiness that I usually get.
Yeah, and maybe like some sort of fruit. I'm leaning towards like cherry, but not quite. But it's very faint.
Maybe like a cranberry. It's kind of like a soury fruit. I don't know. Maybe if we put a little on the palate, we'll
yeah, let's go ahead and
find out.
get a sip.
So now let me add, I'm going to talk to you like Fred Minnick talked to me. He gave me a very good way of tasting bourbon. Unfortunately, Frank was not there with me. It was a very limited event. But I'll talk you through it, and we'll see if you can become a super taster like Fred Minnick says we can all be. Cheers to you guys, and thank you for joining us on our first ever Whiskey Bible podcast. I had to think. That was like a tongue twister. First sip of the night is always a little difficult. So let me start off by asking you, because I'm not going to be able to pull money notes off the first sip. Where did you get the most of the flavor? Did you get it in the front, the middle, the back of the palate, sides of the tongue? Where on the tongue did you get the flavor?
Um, I'd say the front and the middle.
Front and the middle. I got it more like middle to back and sides of the tongue. Supposedly, Fred Minnick said if you taste stuff on the side of your tongues, you're a super taster. I don't know. Sometimes I get it on the side of the tongue, sometimes I didn't. But what he said to do on the second sip now is focus in, pinpoint where you tasted most of the flavor on your tongue, and focus on that part of your tongue for your next sip. Focus in on that. Just focus. Focus. Feel free to talk to guys if you have anything to say. I have the chat up over here on my phone.
I would say out of the two of us, you are more likely to be the super taster.
Super taster. Yeah. I do have that. I do have the side tongue action. Makes me very popular in life. TV14. The nose is kind of sour to me. Not like a bad sour, but like I don't know if that's just a mustiness. Well, now let's go in for a second sip and focus in on where you got that on your palate the first time. Let's see how it is. We like the cheers, we've been told before. Gary always says stuff at the least opportune time. Here we are tasting a super allocated whiskey, trying to focus in on what flavors we're getting. I'll tell you what he said after we get the flavors. Oaky vanilla I got on that one. Dark, I don't know, like a really dark forest, earthy, chocolatey. I don't know. It's kind of earthy to me.
I got more nutty.
Nutty. Like a peanut or like an almond or like a hazelnut. Macadamia nut.
I would say peanut maybe.
Peanut. That's that. I think Heaven Hill is known for that peanut stuff. Did you try focusing in on your palate?
Yeah.
Right? It's pretty cool,
yeah, I
right?
think that helped.
It does. Gary said, Frank's got the tongue action for sure. Ladies beware. You know, he always just says stuff at funny times. Wet corks and tongue action. What kind of podcast is this? That was Johnny Dean. Johnny Dean, this is
What else could he ask for?
Yeah, I know. Like, I don't know. Seems pretty fun to me. And again, I'm here. I don't know if you can really feel the love through the camera, but hey. What corks and tongue action? That could be our new catchphrase. People might take us the wrong way.
We'll have to retitle the episode, you think?
Yeah. Retitle the
episode 1.
Yeah.
Wet corks and tongue action.
Yeah. Hey, that'll get us some views.
We'll probably get us kicked off YouTube.
Probably would. You know, it's always crazy. Let me get a sip of my water. Starting with a crazy pour tonight. Because there's just so much flavor packed in. Heaven Hill, I think, does a tremendous job on aging their products. And I just feel their stuff ages very, very well. We have a few other topics to talk about Heaven Hill and their aging process.
Yeah, I do think Heaven Hill is, for me, has been pretty consistently good in all of their premium products. I mean, even non-premium I like, but I feel like a lot of distilleries are hit and miss for like the big releases, where sometimes there's a good one and sometimes it's a flop, but Heaven Hill, pretty much every time, you know, even with stuff that feels like it could be just trying to get money out of people, I mean, they're consistently delivering something delicious.
All right, note I'm getting here. Ready for this? forget what I was gonna say. There's kind of like a some kind of like I don't want to say this wrong. Wet corks and tongue action. I don't want to say anus extract, but anise extract. You know, like a black licorice smell.
Yeah.
I can never say that word right. I'm kind of getting a black licorice off of it.
Well, the easiest way is don't say anus.
But it confuses me. But yeah, that's all right. There is. I don't know what that sour note is. Again, it's not a bad sour. It's just like I don't know.
I'm kind of on like a sour banana or like
Grapey.
or the mash fermenting.
Mash fermenting. Oh, that's good. Like that stuff we had to eat.
Yeah.
Remember that? Oh, that was horrible. What was that called? I don't know what that was.
I think it's just the mash.
Ooh, yeah, that was
right. Now that with COVID restrictions going down, the tours in Kentucky, everybody was having they give a little cup and they scoop some of the mash out of the fermentation tank. Just mash or maybe what a low wine.
Yeah, low wine.
But they have you taste it, and it's the flavor. I'm not exactly. I wasn't offended by. It pretty much tastes what it smells like, but there's a bunch of little bits in there.
It is chunky.
Yeah.
Chunky to say the least.
But if you've ever gotten to tour a whiskey distillery, or probably any distillery, but a whiskey distillery, and see the fermentation tanks, there's that smell, and it's kind of like mushed sour apples.
That's a good word.
And that's pretty close to that note.
Well, I hate to be the timekeeper when I say we have to move on, but we do have to move on. It's a shame to rush the rest of this whiskey away. Time flies when you're filming videos, you know?
Right.
I don't know if I can do this in one sip.
Yeah, I think I need 2 sips.
I might need 2 sips. There's the nuttiness. Really got the nuttiness on that part. Wow. It's usually like the 4th time around you can really taste the nuts. It's good. It's really good.
That was the sweetest sip, yeah.
That was good. Sweet, I don't know, it's not like confectionery sweet though. It's more of like I don't know, like a pastry. Is that the same thing? I don't know. It's not like a candy sweetness. It's more of like a baked good sweetness, you know?
Yeah.
Almost like really fresh, like baked bread. Not like weedy notes, but just like bready. Like I don't know, it just feels like very coating, very oily in the mouth, buttery, creamy. It's very smooth. I mean, there's no burn at all. It was a little burny in the beginning, but that's just because it was the beginning of the night.
Mine was like, I don't know if there's such a thing, but mine would be like strawberry pie.
Strawberry pie. There is a strawberry pie. Strawberry rhubarb pie. I know my pies pretty well.
I mean, I figure most things you could probably make a pie.
Yeah. They even make fly pie, shoe fly pie. I don't think there's actually flies in it.
I would hope not.
I still wouldn't eat it though because it has.
It doesn't sound great.
No, it does not. Oh, here we go. They're saying stuff. See, I'm dropping the ball. If you could snag any Heaven Hill bottle from any year, what are you going with? That's a hard question. Gary followed that up by Johnny, ... See the boxes behind them? These here. The 17-year was the best Heritage collection. Gary loves the 17-year. I think I said it in the beginning. I'd be interested to see if he does indeed actually show up after this video. We'll see. I don't know if he'll show up or not. That was quite the night last night that he had. I'm interested to see if he actually does show up, but it'd be great for him to bring the Heaven Hill 17 year. Who said that? Not me. And compare it to this. Anyway, back to Johnny's question. If there was one Heaven Hill product to chase down, what would it be? There is a bottle that stands out in my mind. It's probably not what you're thinking. Probably Elijah Craig C923.
Really?
It had great age and it had great proof, and the price point was excellent. It was a really, really good bottle of whiskey. Sure, these whiskeys are great, and this whiskey's great, but I mean, you're paying a premium. You know, you're paying $300 for a bottle. Oh, shoot. I forgot about one. Sorry, not Elijah Craig C923. It would be this Parker's Heritage right here, the Parker's Heritage Double Barrel Blend. By far, the best Heaven Hill product I've ever had.
Yeah, of the ones that we've had, that's pretty high up on my list. I don't know if I could pick out of anything else. And if it's not that, I'd probably go for like any Heaven Hill bottle. I'd maybe take like the first Parker Heritage.
That'd be cool.
Right, just like get
One
an
that we
early
haven't
one.
had. They have like a 27-year Parker's Heritage, I think.
Wow.
24-year. That's got to be insane. But yeah, that Parker's Double Barrel Blend is pretty intense, intensely good. I actually forgot about it until I turned around and I saw it there. And it was like in a horror movie where they just like stop, like their sixth sense goes. That's what happened. But right behind that would be the C923 Elijah Craig. Very good. 133 proof, 13 years, 7 months, 13 years, 6 months, something like that. I actually don't have one open right now. Well, let's finish this off. I think we can finish this off now. We might be louder as the night goes on. What she said. That was good. Very good. All right, let's see what they said about our choosing. Gary said molasses is shoe fly pie, by the way. Well, I hate molasses, so I ain't trying it. John, the 17 does have tons of hype behind it. Never had it. I know they have a 27-year, but I don't hear much about it. Johnny, I think that's because it didn't actually make the Heaven Hill Heritage line. I think it was named something like that, but the first release they actually listed as the 17-year. I'm almost positive. 17-year, then 20-year corn, then the 18-year this year because they thought it would be better than 17-year. I don't think it is. I did try sample at a 17-year. But yeah, I don't think they added that in the actual collection. I could be wrong. I can't look it up because I'm busy reading stuff. I love the Parker's Double Barreled. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. If anybody's ever had it, I mean, you know. It's like the best. It's so good. I have a little bit left in another bottle. But I always said if there's one bottle that I'm going to buy secondary, it's going to be Parker's Heritage Collection just because I like their stuff. With the Fred Minnick event, I did get to try this year's Parker's Heritage. And boy, oh boy, oh boy.
I have heard some things. I think he's in love.
I am in love with that bottle. We did a 5-way blind, and right away I knew it was the Parker's Heritage. It was glass AB. It was glass C. It is just pure strawberry milk, beautiful. I don't know, ripe fields. It is like so good. And I don't like malt, and I was like worried about it, but it is freaking awesome.
Yeah,
and
that was the most surprising that it's malt.
Yeah.
And that you liked it.
Oh my god, it was great. It's not better than the Double Barrel Blend, but definitely now that thankfully I tried it. And I tried it in a blind, so I wasn't even biased. Although I knew it was the Parker's Heritage. It's 14-year whiskey finished in cognac barrels. That was good.
Stand out.
Oh, so good. All right, we're taking away Mr. William Heaven Hill. Now you're going to get to see our famous rinsing action. Sponsored by Acadia Purified Water. They switched springs. I think their spring is sourced out of New Hampshire now, and it's just not as good as the main spring water. It doesn't have quite the finish.
I haven't noticed, but if it was my house, I would have.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're funny too, where we said, sometimes if we do multiple videos and multiple whiskeys in a night, by the end, the last video gets a little manic. And
That's-
so we said we should really only do like 3 whiskeys for the podcast. And then, of course, we somehow end up there all. That was 120 proof, and it's the lowest of the night.
It is the lowest
So.
in the night. Since we were on the Parker's Heritage subject, do you want to go with Parker's Heritage next?
That makes sense, sure.
All right. All right.
Switching it up straight to a rye.
Parker's Heritage 10-year rye collection. This is the 2023 release. 128.8 proof, aged 10 years. At the time when I tried this, it was the highest proof rye I ever had. And I was really worried when I bought it. But it's actually...
That'd be too much?
That'd be too much. That'd be too much spice and too much burn. But it came to be my favorite rye of all time. And we had the beautiful luck, best luck in the world when we were in Kentucky. Listen to this luck. We went to Heaven Hill, and the drop of the day was Larceny Barrel Proof. Yep. We left Bardstown area, and we went to Frankfurt for 4 nights. And the 4 following releases after Larceny Barrel Proof was all Parker's Heritage. Parker's Heritage, Parker's Heritage, Parker's Heritage, Parker's Heritage. So we missed out big time on that. But it is what it is. I have a few bottles, but it's great rye. It's a great rye.
Yeah.
Sorry, spinning. Give me that. I just got back from Newfoundland, Canada. I was up there moose hunting. I gotta start pouring us a little less, or we're gonna be in for
Yeah,
a treat.
you really
Sorry.
got me on that one.
There we go.
At least it's the good stuff.
It is the good stuff. Yeah, I was just up in Newfoundland, Canada, moose hunting and salmon fishing. Look at this. Gary is gonna shit on me for that pour. Yeah, no whiskey up there to hunt whatsoever. Jim Beam something. Jim Beam White Label, I think. Yeah, I think it was Jim Beam White Label. Do you want to guess the price? Guess the price of the Jim Beam White Label.
$7.50.
Yep, $7.50 on the island of Newfoundland.
Right, because here I feel like it's got to be the 20 now. It's 20 something, I think.
Yep, and this is Canada money too.
You gotta get to Canada, and then the ship out there is probably a pain.
Yeah, especially to an island. Gary guessed $80.
But is it Canadian dollars too? Because that's a whole thing.
Yeah, it is Canadian dollars. This is Canadian dollars.
I'll say $33.
Okay. I will add, there was only one other American whiskey in the store, and that was Jack Daniel's.
Yeah.
Jim Beam White Label and Jack Daniel's Black Label and Jack Daniel's Fire, I think, were the 3 American whiskeys that they offered. Everything else was Canadian.
Maybe like Fireball then? Or just Jack Fire?
I think it was just Jack Fire. I don't even think they had Fireball there.
Because Fireball that's like one of the most popular. Like,
yeah.
It might be more than Jim Beam.
Now,
I don't know.
I didn't see it, but then again, I'm not going on my way to look. I wouldn't look for it. Might have been in a different aisle. Jim Beam White Label for a $7.50 bottle is $120 Canadian.
No way.
$120 Canadian for a $7.50 of Jim Beam White Label.
What was like a Crown Royal?
28, 29.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, so can you imagine? They did say, I asked about allocated whiskey, and they do get Blanton's once a year. They get 2 bottles, and they charge 550 Canadian for it.
Wow.
And they say it sells like that. So, not saying you should sell your whiskey, but if you want to sell, you might want to take a ride up to Newfoundland. 8 hours to Maine, 10 hours to the ferry boat, 8-hour ferry boat rides, 7 hours driving across an island.
The real thing to note there is if you're at a bar in Newfoundland and you don't have a price menu, do not take the American whiskey.
Do not take the American whiskey.
Because if it's 120 for the bottle, how much are they charging for a glass?
Yeah.
Oh
80 proof Jim Beam White Label. Can you believe it? I read it. I'm like, that's wrong.
You order 1 shot of Jim Beam White Label, the bill comes back, it was $38.
Yeah. It's nuts.
You're like,
People
what's
are crazy.
going on?
You should have seen, I went up there and up to camp, I brought a bottle of E.H. Taylor small batch with me. You would have thought I was Jesus. These, like, the guides, the hunting guides were all coming down to camp and just swamping me. The bottle was gone in like 2 days.
You can probably pay for your whole trip if you ever go again.
Right? Seriously, just get rid
Take
of
up
one bottle.
one bottle of Blanton's.
Yeah. Shit. All right, back to
It's
the
funny
fact
how
that
that
I'm
works.
spilling whiskey all over the place. It's okay.
He's a nervous wreck.
I call it scenting the area. It smells very good in here. Definitely a rye. You can smell the rye.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big change of pace.
So, in that blind with the Fred Minnick Heaven Hill event, we had a Elijah Craig toasted rye in that blind, and I thought it was the most disgusting, worst thing in the world that I ever tasted. It tasted like old, dirty ginger beer. A little old fashioned, commented. Cheers. Not sure exactly who that is, but thank you for joining in.
Cheers.
Cheers to you. Yeah. Gary might have this bottle. No, Gary doesn't have this bottle because he doesn't like ryes.
For shame.
For shame. For shame. I mean, I didn't like ryes in the beginning, and then, you try so much bourbon, and you're just like, you get palate fatigue to bourbon a little bit, and it's good for a change of pace once in a while. I mean, bourbon's great and fantastic, and I drink a lot of it, but it's good to throw a rye in the mix every once in a while.
Yeah, the more that we've gotten into it and the more that we've tried, hundreds of whiskeys, I'm a lot more open to something with a weird flavor.
Yeah, Gary says, nope, nada. He doesn't have the Parker's rye. Well, Gary, get in your Ford Escape Platinum with no remote start and come over here. You know where I live. Just wanted to drop in and show fellow YouTube creators some love. A little old-fashioned. Well, thank you, sir, for dropping in. Feel free to stay. We don't charge rent. If you want to stay and watch us. If you don't and you're busy, that's fine, too. Ford Edge. Sorry, I forgot you like to edge.
What I'll have to do is go back and put like a counter or something in the thing every time you say something crazy.
Yeah. Wonder if Tim's watching. I don't know. Tim hasn't said anything. He was all excited for the videos, and I don't know. He's been quiet. Cheers. We've been smelling this for too long. We're supposed to be giving reviews on this, and we're just getting completely out of control. At least I am. I definitely get a Sorry. I didn't mean to make you laugh. Forgot we were sipping. On the 10-year rye, I definitely get chocolatey notes. That's what I'm saying. Chocolatey. That's definitely higher proof. The rye spice is definitely there.
This one, it's very creamy.
Do you get those chocolate notes? Or am I just high? I always got a chocolate, like a malty chocolate off of this.
Maybe like a milk chocolate.
Ooh.
But for me, I got like kind of, I don't know, just like a nice creamy, maybe like milky kind of flavor. So like maybe a bit of chocolate, but more of like a nice milk and cream and vanilla.
There's definitely on the nose now. I'm definitely getting vanilla. I would say more of like a French vanilla.
Yeah, it's a little easier to catch now. I wasn't saying much because at first it was mostly just that rye spice.
Yep.
Because it's the rye that mixed with the proof. You get a lot of spice.
All the old fashioned, a little old fashioned. Sorry. Print small and a little blurry. 128.8 proof. So this is cask strength 10-year rye whiskey. 128.8. And it is all of that. It is good. But first sip hit me a little bit. I'm not going to lie. Rye mash bills. I don't think Heaven Hill has many ryes. There's this rye. There's Elijah Craig rye. I'm sure they have some other weird ryes. Like they have a lot. They have a lot of names.
Yeah, some. But like all the stuff, like the major
Mostly
labels,
bourbon.
is bourbon. Yeah.
Yeah. Fun fact about Heaven Hill: back in 1996, November 7th of 1996 to be exact, they had a huge fire, wiped out 4% of the world's whiskey. That doesn't seem like a big number. That is a huge number, especially coming into, well, at that time it wasn't the bourbon boom, but they lost a lot of product. I know they lost I think they might have lost one of their stills, but all the local distilleries, Maker's Mark, Jim Beam, Buffalo Trace, even, I think, came in and stilled Heaven Hill products, which is pretty cool, right? They're not in it to compete against each other. Well, they are, but they're also a family and they work together. Um, that's why I think a lot of products from them go for a lot of money. I don't know for sure, but just a fun fact. I don't know. I'm full of fun facts. Pre-fire, everybody asked for. I want a Heaven Hill product pre-fire. I like it now. I like it post-fire. Beautiful grounds. One of the most beautiful grounds there. Big white brick houses. You're there twice. Useless information that you probably don't care about, but it was fun. Back in the days of when lining up at 7 in the morning, you had a chance of getting something. Now people line up at 1 o'clock in the morning and have the chance of getting nothing. I don't know. I think the plan is to go back in 2025. I don't know how I feel about waiting at Heaven Hill at 1 o'clock in the morning.
No,
Not
we've
for
had
me.
enough of that.
We had enough of that. I would do it for Maker's Mark Cellar Aged, but I don't know if I would do it at Heaven Hill.
Especially if you don't. I mean, imagine doing that and it's larceny barrel.
Oh my god. He would hate me. He would be so mad at me.
And especially because Makers, we were in the car.
Yeah.
Right? If you can stay in the car, then it's not too bad. But
Yeah.
to sit out in like a tent or something, ugh.
Yeah, at least Heaven Hill, I think there is a porta potty on product.
There's
premises.
gotta be a better way to do these things.
Yeah. I don't know. That's just what people do. Well, we'll cheers again. We cheers a lot. Ding, ding, ding.
It's a fun noise.
It is a fun noise. Parker's Heritage is always great. I mean, it's obviously a premium brand, comes out once a year. All proceeds from bottles, part of the proceeds, not all proceeds, go to ALS research. I'm assuming Mr. Parker did not have a fun time with ALS. That's my assumption. But yeah, very full body rye. 2023 release, so I doubt it's around anymore, but if you can find it, it'd probably be a good pickup. Aged 10 years. I don't think I added that in. What do you think, Sir Frank?
I mean, it's a classic. Everything Parker's Heritage is just amazing.
Top tier.
It's just that the flavors just have a way of lingering for so long in a way that, like, most whiskeys have a finish, but this is just, I mean, it's a flavor that just stays in your mouth and you can enjoy it for so long.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you like better? Do you like this better than the William Heaven Hill? I mean, they're two different animals, but
Yeah, I mean, that is part of the thing for me, is it's like, it's almost harder for me to, like, rate stuff sometimes, or like, especially rank and compare, just because there's so many nice things, like a rye versus a bourbon. There's so many different qualities. um I think the William Heaven Hill is objectively
better.
a better whiskey, but this is really crushable.
Yeah, dangerously crushable. At being 128.8 proof.
Woo!
You
This
get in
is.
trouble.
I mean, it's amazing, but the William Heaven Hill, I think, had a lot more complex of a palate.
Well,
That's just my read on it.
when I'm sipping this, I always like a lot of people like rye in the summertime, which I feel is weird. Maybe because it's like a crisper. But when I drink this, I feel like winter time. You know, around the fire. It just
Yeah.
really hits that way to me. Um,
Yeah, I
I
think in
like it.
general the rye spice to me is something I would enjoy more. Right in the summer, I want something sweet.
Yeah. Well, I'm ready for one last sip.
Yeah, sure.
Finish this off. Then we have a whole another topic to talk about. You thought we were just talking unicorns. Nope.
Cheers.
Cheers. Ding. Hmm. Kind of grapey on that one. Grapey raisin. That's good. I think we picked our whiskeys tonight. I think we wanted one of each mash bill. We wanted a rye, we wanted a bourbon, and we wanted a wheated bourbon. And when I came to realize I didn't have a rye Elijah Craig, nor would I ever buy one ever again, I was like, well, we're trying to keep it, not so much unicorn pours, but stuff that you can kind of find. One unicorn, obviously, the William Heaven Hill. Unfortunately, we didn't have an option to do two normal pours. But yeah, three different mash bills. Last one we'll be talking a lot about. I feel have a lot of talk about it. You probably saw it in the beginning of the video. Drinking game for the audience. Take a drink every time they cheers glasses.
Oh man.
Nice. You guys will be smashed out of your minds. So, Parker's Heritage Rye. What would you rate it out of 10? Just quick thinking.
9.
9. I'd probably go 8, 8.5. It's good. I really like Parker's Heritage Rye. However, I love the double barrel, and you haven't tried the newest one yet. The new one is fabuloso.
Yeah, I think in terms of I mean, I'm probably always gonna like a bourbon more than a rye, um, but I mean it's got to be top 3 ryes for me.
Yeah, definitely. I would say it's actually probably my favorite rye, to be honest. I really like this rye. Um, a little, I always mess this up. A little old fashioned said he's never seen that one in his area or her area. What's your area? Where are you from? Are you from the Pennsylvania, New Jersey area, Northeast? Are you Southwest? Are you Afghanistan?
Yeah, we've
Where are you
had
from?
I think we had somebody from like Wyoming or something was in the comments one time.
Minnesota, was it?
I don't know.
Wyoming, maybe somewhere
It was real
Midwest.
far out west.
Yeah. Jackson, Tennessee. Very cool. Were you up in Canada with me? There were some people from Tennessee up in Canada with me. I don't know if this is them. I can't even remember if I mentioned a channel up there.
Oh, that'd be funny.
That would be funny. If we're up there in Canada. Thanks for cheersing in. Sorry I didn't respond to your text message. I'm busy at the moment.
Tennessee, good for whiskey. Hopefully you're not in the hurricane path.
Ooh, yeah, that was bad.
Hopefully you're all good.
Yeah. No, he wasn't. Okay. Scary fact about that, when I was up there, the person who was from Tennessee, their whole home
That's gotta suck.
their whole home got destroyed while they were up there.
Yeah.
Lucky for them, they were the people who sold all the tires to NASCAR. So I think they will be rebuilding better. But still sucks to lose your home, obviously. His wife was pissed. Oh my god, she was without power, everything. All that. Look at me, I'm opening bottles as I'm talking.
Yeah, so this is what we meant by more something that anybody could probably come by, or at least, I mean, this is a barrel proof larceny, but at least, if you want to try a larceny small batch, that should be pretty around. I don't think Parker's Heritage, we weren't trying to say that any of those are like stopping at the liquor store on the way home from work.
No. Yeah, this is so if you don't know, which I'm sure everybody watching does, but if you don't know, Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, Larceny Barrel Proof come out 3 times a year. A whatever, B 520 whatever, and C 9. So what's the first month? I can't
I'm
remember.
because you mess it up. I'm like blanking out. I feel like it should be
One,
one. Yeah.
right? One, yeah, January, September, and May. May is fifth. Look at us, stay in school. I'm totally
Yeah.
blanking. This
May
is
is the
weird. I
fifth.
know this.
It's May and September, but the other ones I don't
I think
know.
it's
I
January.
can't.
I think it's January.
It's got to be A123. That sounds right.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Because you would do A123, B523, C923.
Yep. You know what messes me up is Bernheim Barrel Proof, which
Yeah,
is the
because they did it
newest
weird
thing.
with Bernheim.
They do it twice a year, and they do it 2, 20, whatever, and 9. So they do it February and uh, September. But yeah, this is the weeded bourbon. This is C923. This got really good reviews. 126.4 proof. So this is not, well, I shouldn't say not. Some people can't find the Larceny Barrel Proofs.
It's hit or miss with all those, and it also depends a lot on reviews, right? So somebody like a Fred Minnick or any big whiskey reviewing site puts out a thing and they say, "Wow, Elijah Craig C923 is the best thing I've ever drank," and well, now you're gonna have a real hard time finding it. And if people say that it stinks, you might have a bit of an easier time. Sometimes, I mean, here in PA, sometimes you manage to get a barrel proof drop at one of the stores. Other times you got to go for a bit of a drive.
Yeah.
Uh,
Right away, I already knows this. I already smelled this. Um, Butterscotch is big for me on the nose.
well, I mean, this is, I mean, if there's a type of bourbon that we like, I think it's weeded.
Yeah, I think we're overall wheat fans. It's funny. I hate to mention the number of viewers in the stream while we're doing it, but as soon as we put away the Parker's Heritage and brought out a normal whiskey, we lost like 5 people. But it's okay. Yeah, more good stuff for us. What batch is that? I'll join. All right, here we go. Let's see if he has it. You think he has it? Over under if Gary has this batch.
I bet he does.
C923. C923. 126.4 proof. Very good. When I first started drinking these, they were allocated at the time, and I waited I waited 4 hours in a line at Joe Canal's Lawrenceville. And I got one of these. This is what I chose. She only had 3 of them. Yeah, Gary's got it. Coming 2025. I don't know if this is an NDA or not. I don't know if anybody.
If you didn't sign anything, you're fine.
I didn't sign anything. There will be single barrel proof store picks of Larceny coming out. I haven't heard much talk about it, but that is a thing. Come January, Larceny Barrel Proof will be a store pick option. So we're going to get all different kinds of stuff, right?
Yeah.
That's going to be cool. I would love to try. So imagine this single barrel.
Right.
That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, Heaven Hill single barrel bottled and bond, Larceny Barrel Proof single barrel, and they might even be doing a Bernheim single barrel proof. But they're definitely upping their single barrel production. So let's get in on a little notes from this whiskey. Just trying to fill in as much information on Heaven Hill that I can. Again, this was kind of rushed. We kind of planned this. We were excited. Next time we will have a...
Yeah, I think in the future it's going to be, we'll talk a bit about what we're drinking, and we'll focus more on talking about the whiskey world, whether we like single barrel whiskey, what do we think about different chars and different aging and whatever we happen to think of. If there's something that you'd like to hear us talk about, you know, a question that you want us to answer, you know, opinions or whatever. If you have an idea, you know, throw it in the chat or this will be up afterwards. You can comment, you know.
Yeah.
Who knows? We've got a few ideas kicking around, but for tonight, it felt better to just let's see what it feels like, work out, you know, tech things, and just see if we like the idea of sitting around drinking whiskey and chatting for an hour.
Yeah. This is the debut. This is the first episode, so this is raw footage. All right. Butterscotchy, caramely, sweetness, deliciousness. Wheat is the best grain in the world. Let's cheers this one. If you're following Gary's rules, get ready because we're about to cheers. And then I will bring up what is sitting below us here. Talk a little bit about that. Cheers. A shot of Everclear. Great. Fantastic. Barrel proof, aged wheated bourbon. I mean, come on, that's freaking awesome.
There's something about wheat in the bourbon that just softens it up. That's the best way I can describe how I feel about it.
Wheated whiskey is very approachable.
Sure, yeah.
Right, that's a good word. I've always liked wheat from the very beginning. I've liked wheat, and once you get to wheated whiskey like Bernheim's good, but that's a whole different animal. Now you're like really like you feel like you're chewing on grain, you know, like
Yeah.
liquid spicy Cheerios is kind of what it is. Um, what I wanted to talk about a little bit is right here. So if you go to Heaven Hill, and we've gone twice, and every time, and I think every time in the future we're going to do this, just because it's a rite of passage. They have a You Do Bourbon experience where you get to bottle your own whiskey at Barrel Proof. They usually have Larceny Barrel Proof, Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, Bernheim Barrel Proof before it was even on the market, and Select Stock. Select Stock's a crapshoot. You don't know if they're going to have it or not. Right now, it's a malt whiskey, and it's been a malt whiskey for a year and a half. That's because it sucks. Sorry, that's my honest opinion. It was not good at all. I don't like malt, except for the Parker's Heritage malt that's coming out this year.
Another reason why I was surprised that you would like that, considering we've had malt whiskey from them, and that was that was the second time we went. Is they had the Select Stock, and I'll tell you that second time we went, I was a little disappointed with the specific barrels that they had.
Yeah, it was. They were not the best. I think we both went with Elijah Craig last time, just because that was the best option. This time, the first time we went, the Larceny really stood out.
Yeah.
Right? And it's interesting because it was the lowest proof Larceny barrel proof Heaven Hill has ever had, ever. Came in at 114.8 proof. This is Y, stands for You Do Bourbon, 622. So June of 2022, this barrel was pulled. We went in September.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a great experience. A lot of fun. It is expensive because you do have to pay for the experience, and you also have to pay for the bottle afterwards. But I mean, you're there. You're going to spend the money when you're on vacation. You got to do it. And I think that's something that I'll do every time we go.
Yeah, I think it's something like $30 to $40 in that range. And then you get to taste everything before you choose what you're gonna bottle. Yep. So it is kind of a tasting. I think probably it ends up at like 5, right? I think you do one of each, and then they give you a fifth pour of whatever you want.
Yeah.
Or did they only do that the first time?
I think the first time they did whatever you wanted. The second time they said, who's celebrating a special event?
Yeah.
Right? Oh, it's my wedding anniversary. Well, what was your favorite? Oh, Larceny Barrel Proof. Okay, well, everybody's going to get another pour of Larceny Barrel Proof. So, I mean, I guess it depends. It also depends on who your tour guide is. I think was the first one was not the best, or the second one was not the best.
I really liked the first guy I really liked. He was like that older guy.
Yeah.
We might have had him both times.
Okay. Oh, I'm thinking
You
of
you might have. I can't. Yeah, I don't. Who are you thinking of?
that tasting we did.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was scary.
We had some like
She
I don't know, like a
did not want to be
20-year
there.
old there. It was like maybe 9 or 10 in the morning, and uh, that was a terrible tasting. That was okay. Your glass is larceny barrel proof. It's a weeded bourbon.
Yeah,
It
enjoy.
tastes like whiskey. Why don't you take a sip?
Yep.
And just no enthusiasm. But the you do bourbon tour guide was really good. And that's I mean for the experience, get pictures and the custom label and everything. And then they charge like a regular price for it was something like $35 for the tour, and then depending on the bottle you buy, they charge you $80.
Gary, the video's almost over. You might want to start heading over now.
You're trying really hard to get him here.
He's a party animal. He's fun to
Yeah.
have around. He said it does well in blinds. It does, and Fred Minnick also said the same thing, that larceny in blinds always does really, really well. I shall add that we're coming up on 5 minutes. Will be an hour.
Okay.
So.
Well, then we'll finish up this glass and call it there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think larceny, and I think a lot of weeded bourbons, they're just toned down, so you have a lot of these. You still have these nice sweet flavors, but there's not usually like an overpowering flavor. It kind of tones down any spice that might be in there, especially as opposed to if you have a rye whiskey or a high rye bourbon. Uh, and I think that just makes it so it's like there's not going to be a lot of offensive flavors.
Yeah.
Right? If you give somebody a high rye, and if even a bourbon, right? That first bourbon, we were getting notes of like, oh, there's like some oak here and some leather,
Yeah.
and tobacco, and like some people, I feel like those are a lot of flavors people don't like out of a whiskey. That's something that you come to appreciate when you're getting used to it. But this larceny barrel proof, I mean, it's smooth, it's sweet, easy to drink.
Johnny says, want to share the wealth down to Charleston. Yeah, I mean, we've been getting pretty lucky with drops up here, it seems. I don't know. I figure if you know what you're doing, you can kind of follow the path of things. You're pretty lucky up here. I mean, you're not going to sit on your couch and obtain rare whiskeys, right? You actually have to put in work.
Yeah, I would say that that's a lot of the, if it's any wonder of how do we get stuff, it's partially like that there is stuff around, but you've got to go and drive and talk and work for it.
Yeah. I mean, shoot me a sample of that Heaven Hill. Ooh, Johnny wants a sample of that Heaven Hill.
You were talking about what a great fan he is.
Right?
He's always very participatory.
I know, right? You know what, Johnny Dean? If you want a sample of the Heaven Hill, sure. I'll send you a sample of the Heaven Hill. I got a few bottles of it laying around.
I mean, at that rate, go out and get some white label Heaven Hill,
right?
80 proof juice.
Right.
Instead of that.
Right. He's probably laughing right now. He's probably like, I didn't see that one coming. That's the bottle that's holding up my phone right now.
Yeah.
But yeah,
if
he's
you want to
laughing.
be really nice, send him some Evan Williams bottle and bond.
Yeah, right. See, Gary said now that was funny. Gary's always got a good sense of humor. That's my dog, if you heard that. She's a psycho woman. She could use a little bourbon in her life. Let's cheers this. Take a shot. We cheers.
See, all you did was make us want to cheers more.
Right? Oh my God! Did you see that? I gotta watch that replay. That was absolute.
What did you even?
Alcohol abuse. I don't know. I think I turned my glass upside down. I don't think they could see it on camera. But yeah, there's whiskey all over the place.
I didn't even catch that one.
See?
We'll upload that as a YouTube short.
Marble bars are very good. No whiskey. He's drinking already. Here I go. Cheers.
Again.
Just there. We're being evil to them now.
We'll watch it back, and it's just horrible to listen to every time. We'll have to
Right.
stop.
Right.
Hopefully, somebody would have said something by now.
Larceny Barrel Proof from each year is probably my favorite out of the three: Bernheim, Elijah Craig, and Larceny. Just because I like wheat. There is exceptions like C923 Elijah Craig, which was really good. I wish they age stated this.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
For me, I'm almost at a point. I don't know. I don't think you can really make a bad Larceny barrel proof. Even the small batch, I don't think you could ever get a bad bottle.
Yeah. Small batch, I feel, is a little. People say it tastes a little grassy, which I can see, but it's not like a Willet grassy. Willet is really grassy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's extremely grassy. Another fun fact: Willet Purple Tops used to be a lot of it sourced from Heaven Hill, and the Heaven Hill bottled and bond that I picked with Fred Minnick and Tony and Jeremiah from the Whiskey Boys on Instagram. Go ahead and give them a follow. Hopefully, we can have him on the channel eventually. We were all 100% on number one, and Fred Minnick said, and I quote, that this tastes like the old school Willet Purple Tops that they used to source from Heaven Hill. Gary was at the event. That was fun. I think Gary had a good time. My dog is playing with a squeaky toy.
Is that what that is?
That's what that is. That's a squeaky toy.
I've been looking around. I thought maybe it was your chair.
Yeah, my dog with a squeaky toy.
Dude, probably got pretty good audio up there.
Yeah. Can you hear the squeaky toy? That's Stella, my golden retriever. She's 1.5 years old, and she is full of robust energy. They can definitely pick that up. Let's cheers one more time. I think we're towards the end of the video. Let's give a recap of what we drank tonight.
I'm going to sip this.
All this stuff, go ahead. I'm going to sip it too. I'm just in the middle of left-hand moving stuff. Cheers. Gary says he can't hear dog toy noises. That is a super crushable, delicious whiskey. I can drink that all night long and be in trouble tomorrow morning. That's very good. Very, very, very good. Excited to see what single barrel store picks could be of that.
Yeah, that is an interesting one to go with the single barrel. Cause I mean, like having the Elijah Craig single barrels are, I mean, far and above. I mean, they're just really stand out.
Yeah. So we'll see. I'm interested to see what the cost will be too, though. That might be a little scary.
Yeah.
We'll see. In order, favorite of the night, based on everything, this is going to shock you. If I were to rank these three of the night, get ready to freak out, everybody. This is everything. This is price, availability, flavor, everything. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3.
I think when you factor in price, I see where you're at.
Yeah.
Because I mean, what isn't Larceny? I mean, aren't those like what 60-ish?
Prices have been going up very quickly.
Sure, yeah.
They are now $70.
Okay.
I feel like everything just had a big uptick boom. I know all
Yeah.
Buffalo Trace products, if they haven't already in your area, will be going up 12% MSRP. So be ready for that hit. Especially if you don't pay MSRP, I feel like secondary is going to rise.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to hit that profit margin. So be ready for that. This went from $64.99 to $69.99. I had a pause. That's my favorite number.
It is. It's funny that everything's going up, and so many of the things I've seen just in PA even, bottles go up in price to the point where it's like things that were my favorite, something like just a basic Knob Creek, right? It's such an easy go-to at $35, but now it's like 42.
Yeah.
And now it's a little much. It's harder to go for that. The same with the Buffalo Trace. I don't want to linger on too long because we'll probably in the future talk about them a lot.
Oh yeah.
But part of what they had going for so many of their whiskeys is the price. And there are things like like Eagle Rare. I think we can all agree that they definitely could be charging more for Eagle Rare to.
Don't say anything.
They've already figured that
They're
out.
watching us right now.
But like it was hard to find, but for like $35 for a 10-year whiskey that tastes good. I mean,
another fun fact for you, not to stay on Buffalo Trace whiskey, but there is heavily rumored. Ooh, very bad news. We're about to increase the secondary price on Eagle Rare when I state this. The age statement on Eagle Rare will be being taken away. There will no longer be a 10-year age statement on Eagle Rare. Which, at that point, why are you buying Eagle Rare? Why not just buy Buffalo Trace? That's rumored. We will see what happens.
It's the worst news since the concept of the plastic Blanton's topper.
Yep, those are coming as well. Plastic horses. It's a little sad to see Buffalo Trace doing that because I feel like whiskey can't be rushed, and I feel like they're looking at, here we are, we're ranting about Buffalo Trace. I told myself I wasn't going to do this.
It's going to be a common theme, I think, of the channel.
Yeah, but don't rush it, please. Just, leave it allocated and keep it at 10 years. Don't take that away and give me an 8-year Eagle Rare. Who wants that? Not me.
I think for me, even though it is a company, there's a certain level of trust between the buyer and the distillery.
Mm-hmm.
That the label and the branding of Eagle Rare means something. The label and branding of Buffalo Trace means something. And so if you start kind of skimping on quality, it breaks the trust there, right? So that's like with Heaven Hill, to bring it back, when they were launching the Bernheim barrel proof, I thought like, oh, well, they've seen that Larceny and Elijah Craig barrel proofs, those are doing great. Everybody loves buying those. We put out 3 a year. What if we try and make a little extra money, see if people will go for buying all these drops of Bernheim? And I was a little worried that it was a cash grab, but it's actually a really great whiskey. I mean, that first Bernheim barrel proof was amazing. And so that's kind of what I mean, like with Heaven Hill consistently, like all the Parker's Heritage are really good. All of their premium brands are really good. It's this idea that if you're going to charge a price for something, it should be a quality. And once you establish a brand, the idea to take away the age statement on Eagle Rare feels like the only reason you would do that is so you don't have to age it 10 years. Yeah. And now that kind of makes me wonder, am I still going to get the same good flavor that I've come to expect and love when I buy that bottle? Or should I just settle for Buffalo Trace? And then are they going to do something with that? Are they going to say, we're only aging Buffalo Trace 4 years, whereas now they age it 5, 6, 7 years?
Save your old bottles, folks. Save your old bottles. We have a dilemma.
I think if there's anybody in the chat talking that we can respond to, we should wrap that up. But otherwise, I think.
Well, they're talking.
What are they
First
saying?
off, they're mad that we're talking about Buffalo Trace in a Heaven Hill video. At least Gary is. He told us to...
he just noticed you were...
Shut up about that tater juice. But here's the dilemma we're facing. We said we were going to try to keep this around an hour. We're now an hour and 10 minutes, and people are suggesting that we pour Heaven Hill 18 year or Heaven Hill 20 year. Gary said, just pour Heaven Hill 18 year or 20 year and shut up. Johnny Dean said, what Gary said. Gary sent a devil face. Do we pour another pour? I mean, then we're going to be going long, or do we say you got to wait for the next...
I think we got to wait for the next episode.
Got to wait for the next episode. Gary, if you come over, we'll pour some Heaven Hill 18 year. We do have to cut this video, though. We will do a video in the future. It's also getting very loud in my house. I guess they couldn't take the horror movie at the movie theater. Heaven Hill products, my sisters are home from college. They're very loud people. And in fact, they might be coming downstairs right now. My dog is, at least.
Yeah,
it's starting to hit the fan.
We are
really
descending
quick.
into chaos.
Yep.
I think let's
all right,
call it out.
It's happening. The world is falling down. Thank you for joining in. Well, the dog just grabbed the towel. She's going back upstairs. She got the memo. Heaven Hill, 3 main Heaven Hill products. In the future, we will talk about unicorn Heaven Hills. We may even see a retry of the Heaven Hill 17 year, William Heaven Hill 17 year. But yeah, we got a lot of stuff planned for podcasts. We're going to try to do this once a week, once every other week, once every other week, whatever.
We'll start with, we'll try to see if we can do it weekly. And, you know, depending on how that feels and works for us and schedules and such, we'll kind of work out. I assume it's just more people bullying us and trying to get us to have another drink.
It's Gary and Johnny Dean. They're being crazy. Gary is now saying he wants my sister on screen. All right, let's calm down a little bit.
Aren't you married?
Yeah, seriously. Don't you have a child? Gary said guest appearance. Well,
we're certainly open to guest appearances.
You've been here before, so you kind of know what's going on. I love how he said that right after the fact that I started talking about unicorn pours.
Right.
Johnny Dean said again what Gary said.
Everybody here just trying to get a bit. They're asking for samples.
I
Want
know.
to get on the
I know.
special episodes.
We do have certain stuff planned for the future. We can't talk about it right now. You'll have to tune in and find out. With that being said, I think we're about done.
Yeah, I think we're good to call. We had 3 great whiskeys. We talked a lot about Heaven Hill and what they're doing and where they're going, and I think we're good to end it there.
And get ready for Gary, queuing Gary.
That would be something.
We'll just have to wait about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
He'll be here, though. He knows what's going on. Happy 15, Gary. Come on over. Thanks for joining in the first ever episode podcast video starring William Heaven Hill on Whiskey Bible. I am Luke.
I'm Frank.
This is Whiskey Bible Podcast. Thank you again and have a great evening. Awkward moment of pause while Frank walks around to shut off the camera.
No, and that's where we say, and remember to stay in school.
Remember to stay in school. I can't believe I forgot that. See, if you stayed in school, you would remember to do that. He's about to hit the button. Here it goes. So long, everybody. Good night.